About 6,000 years ago, in the marshy plains of southern Mesopotamia, roughly 20 city-states emerged between two unpredictable rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Life in this land was anything but easy. Floods could sweep through without warning. Scorching heat often climbed beyond 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and constant clashes with neighboring settlements made survival a daily challenge. Yet, despite the harsh conditions, humans persisted. Among them were the Sumerians, the people who would lay the foundations of the world's first civilization. Imagine yourself in one of these early cities, around 3000 BCE. Are not a king, nor a priest. You are an ordinary citizen, part of the bustling, dusty, urban fabric. You live in a modest mud brick house, its walls thick enough to keep some of the sun's heat at bay, but thin enough that every rising temperature outside presses through. The roof is flat, made of sun-dried mud, supported here and there by wooden beams. Inside, the air is heavy, carrying the faint, earthy scent of clay, dust, and last night's cooking fires. The first light of dawn seeps through the gaps in the reed walls. It is a pale gray, barely enough to illuminate the outlines of the room, yet it hints at the day's coming heat. You lie on a simple reed mat on the packed earth floor. No mattress, no padding, just dried reeds arranged in a grid. Your back can feel every ridge, every knot, imprinted from hours of sleep. At first, the floor had been cool, but your body heat has already warmed it, making the mat cling slightly to your skin. Even in the early hour, the sun's influence can already be felt. The mud walls, though thick, radiate the stored warmth of the previous day. Outside, the city begins to stir. The scrape of tools against stone, the distant voices of neighbors, the clatter of footsteps along packed streets all signal that the world is waking up. Your throat feels parched, the sticky, dry sensation that comes from rationed water. The last sip was yesterday, taken from the communal jar near the well. Here, water is never taken for granted. Though the rivers are close, their water is contaminated, used by animals for washing, and sometimes carrying the unfortunate downstream casualties of the city. Every drop is precious, carefully collected, stored, and rationed. You reach for your small clay water jar, tucked in the corner of the room. The cool clay against your palms is comforting as you tilt it, letting a small sip slide into your mouth. The taste is mineral-rich, faintly metallic, but it weights the dry cavity of your throat, enough to sustain you for now. You slowly rise, feeling the stiffness in your shoulders and the ache between your shoulder blades. Even those with slightly better sleeping arrangements, like wooden platforms with woven reeds or wool padding, share some version of this persistent discomfort. The air carries the scent of onions from yesterday's meals, lingering in the corners, competing with the faint aroma of early bread baking somewhere in the city. You take a deep breath, grounding yourself in this ordinary yet relentless reality. Today, like every day in Sumer, will demand patience, endurance, and constant attention to survival. The central courtyard of your house awaits, open to the sky. It will be the hub of all activity: cooking, cleaning, fetching water, and interacting with neighbors. It is where daily life will unfold, exposed to the sun, wind, and dust. As dawn breaks fully, you step forward, feeling the cool earth beneath your feet one last time before the day's heat envelops everything. The sun has barely cleared the horizon, yet its heat begins to press against your skin like a living thing. In Sumer, mornings are a brief window of relative comfort before the day becomes unbearably hot. You step into the central courtyard of your mud brick home, the air still tinged with the earthy scent of dried clay and the lingering aroma of last night's meals. The courtyard is the heart of your household, where nearly every activity begins. Here, light, air, and dust intermingle, and the heat will soon become impossible to ignore. Your first task of the day is water. The communal well, a short walk from your home, is already in use by neighbors performing the same routine. Water in Sumer is precious, rationed, and never assumed to be safe without proper collection and settlement. Though the Tigris and Euphrates flow nearby, drinking directly from the rivers is dangerous. You see animals drinking, people washing, and sometimes even the grim evidence of bodies carried downstream. Water is life, yes, but it is also a fragile resource to be handled with care. You fill your clay jar slowly, letting it settle at the bottom of the well before drawing the liquid up. The rope creaks under the weight, the coarse fibers rubbing against your hands. A neighbor waves, calling out a greeting in the early morning hush. Small interactions like this are part of daily life, brief but grounding. Each jar you fill must last for the day, carefully measured between drinking, cooking, and washing small cloths. Wasting a single drop is unthinkable. Back at your house, chores begin in earnest. You sweep the courtyard with a simple broom of bundled reeds, kicking up fine dust that catches the morning light. You fetch bundles of reeds for cooking fires, carrying them across the courtyard to the small hearth. Smoke curls upward, mixing with the dust and the heat, and you breathe it in, knowing it is the start of sustenance for your family. Breakfast is modesta barley porridge simmered over the fire, sweetened with a few lentils if the household is fortunate. Onions, sliced thin, add flavor. You prepare the meal on low mud platforms using small clay bowls. Cooking here is not a chore of convenience. It is an exercise in balance. Too much heat can burn the food, too little, and it will remain inedible. Every motion is deliberate, a reflection of years of trial, error, and observation. While the food cooks, you glance around your home. Storage rooms line the sides of the courtyard, clay jars stacked carefully with grains, beans, and dried fish. There is little room for luxury. Everything has a purpose. Even the mud walls are functional, keeping the temperature tolerable and the space secure from thieves or wandering animals. Small openings near the ceilings provide ventilation, letting out the heat while admitting just enough light. Finally, breakfast is served. The porridge is bland but filling, barley grains thick and comforting in their simplicity. You drink water from the jar you filled earlier, savoring each sip while planning the day ahead. The chores of water, cooking, and household maintenance are done not for leisure, but for survival. Life in Sumer is relentless, a continuous negotiation with the sun, the rivers, and the city around you. By the time the sun climbs higher, the day has officially begun. The courtyard now radiates heat, dust rises in faint clouds, and the city outside hums with the activities of merchants, farmers, and artisans. You finish your chores, ready to step into the next part of the day, knowing that every effort counts toward survival in this ancient world. With breakfast finished and water carefully rationed, you step outside into the city streets. The sun is climbing, casting long, sharp shadows across the mud brick buildings. Dust swirls in the warm morning light, caught by the faint breeze that moves across the narrow alleys. The city is already alive. Merchants are setting up small stalls, the clatter of pottery and woven baskets echoing from the marketplace. Children run barefoot over the packed earth streets, their laughter sharp against the murmur of adult voices. You make your way toward the work area, passing familiar neighbors along the way. Everyone has a role, a task that ensures the city continues to function. You are not wealthy. You do not wield authority, but your labor is just as essential. Perhaps you are a farmer tending to barley fields near the riverbanks, or an artisan shaping clay tablets or pottery. Perhaps you help construct walls and houses, or transport goods from one part of the city to another. Whatever the task, the rhythm is relentless, dictated by the sun, the rivers, and the survival of your household. As you move, the sun's heat grows oppressive. Mud brick walls reflected in waves, and the air itself feels thick, like breathing through a damp cloth. Sweat beads on your forehead, trickling down your neck. Yet pausing is not an option. Time is measured not by hours, but by tasks completed. Each moment is an investment. Fetching water, carrying baskets of grain, tending animals, or shaping mud bricks before they dry too quickly under the sun. Today, you are heading to a plot of land your family tends along the river's edge. The soil is fertile but unpredictable. Floods can come suddenly, destroying crops. Droughts can parch the land, making every grain precious. Your hands, roughened by years of labor, are steady as you carry tools and bundles of seed. The river is visible in the distance, shimmering under the sun, a constant reminder of both life and danger. You step carefully, aware of uneven ground and hidden debris from previous floods. At the worksite, the day begins in earnest, digging furrows for planting, shaping irrigation channels, or repairing dikes. Each task requires focus and endurance. The Sumerians are masterful engineers of water, creating canals and levees to tame the unpredictable rivers. Watching the water flow through channels you helped construct fills you with a quiet sense of pride. Even amid the exhaustion, the sounds of the city remain faint but persistent. Children calling, merchants shouting, carts rattling over stone, the occasional bray of a donkey. The rhythm of labor blends with these city noises, a backdrop to the essential task of survival. Sweat stings your eyes, dirt clings to your skin, and muscles ache, but these are familiar companions. Every day is the same, yet each day matters. The labor you perform is not just for yourself. It sustains your family and contributes to the life of the city as a whole. As the sun climbs higher, you take a brief pause, crouching under the scant shade of a nearby mud wall. Water from your jar is precious and limited, but you sip slowly, letting the liquid ease the dryness in your throat. The heat is now almost unbearable, but work cannot stop. This is life in Sumer, demanding, unrelenting, yet strangely predictable. Survival depends on your hands, your endurance, and your knowledge of the land. The sun now stands high in the sky, an unrelenting orb, baking the streets, rooftops, and fields alike. The heat presses down so heavily it feels as if the earth itself is radiating fire. Dust swirls lazily in the light, drifting from the alleys. And fields, coating your skin, hair, and clothes with a fine, gritty layer. Sweat rolls down your back, dripping into the crease of your neck, and every movement seems heavier than the last. Yet there is little choice but to continue. The day demands labor, and labor cannot wait for comfort. Finally, you take a moment's respite in a small, shaded area near your work site. Perhaps it is the corner of a mud brick wall, or the sparse shade of a lone tree planted carefully by the riverbank. Your hands, blackened with soil and dust, clutch the small clay jar you carried from home. Each sip is precious, the cool water soothing your parched throat and sticky tongue. Even this small pleasure is fleeting. In Sumer, there is no abundance, only careful management of life's necessities. The midday meal is simple, functional, and repetitive, but it sustains. A small, flat bread, dense and coarse, is accompanied by mashed beans and slices of pungent onions, the signature flavors of the Sumerian diet. Barley, boiled and shaped into small cakes, is another staple, sometimes sweetened with honey if it is available. The smell is strong, a mix of cooked grains, earthy beans, and the unmistakable sharpness of onions. You eat slowly, savoring each bite, not for pleasure, but for survival. The air is thick and warm, yet even the food carries heat. Around you, the city hums faintly in the distance. Merchants continue their transactions. Animals bray, children chase each other along the streets. The communal oven, already working since dawn, fills the air with the comforting scent of freshly baked bread. It cuts through the heavier aromas of sweat, dust, and cooking fires. This is the rhythm of the city. Heat, labor, sustenance, and survival repeating endlessly as you eat. Your mind wanders briefly to the labor ahead, repairing irrigation channels, tending the barley fields, or carrying bundles of reeds for construction. Every action is guided by necessity. There is no luxury here, no option to postpone chores for comfort. You are tethered to the land, the city, and the relentless climate. Even sitting in shade for a few minutes is a small, treasured reprieve, a chance to restore your body before the sun's full force returns. You notice how the earth itself seems to breathe heat. The mud brick walls surrounding the courtyard and streets radiated back toward you. The reeds in the mat you slept on this morning, the tools you carried, and even the clay jar seemed to hold the lingering warmth of the sun. Yet, in these brief pauses, you also find rhythm, your body adapting, muscles loosening, and the mind sharpening in preparation for the afternoon labor. As you finish the meal, you carefully store what remains for later, mindful that every morsel counts. Water is rationed, food is precious, and survival depends on these small, deliberate actions. You rise from your temporary shade, shoulders stiff but body ready, knowing that the city, the fields, and the rivers await your continued effort. This is life in Sumer, marked by cycles of heat, labor, and fleeting relief. Every day is a test, every pause a necessary recovery, every sip of water a small triumph. The sun now hangs high, merciless and scorching, turning the packed earth streets and open courtyards into ovens. Every step you take radiates heat through the soles of your feet, carried upward to your legs, your back, your shoulders. The midday meal has given only temporary relief. Sweat glistens on your skin, mixing with dust, and the faint residue of barley and beans from your simple breakfast. Yet the city waits, the rivers wait, and the land waits. Sand survival leaves no room for pause. You return to your tasks. Whether it is tending fields along the riverbanks, repairing irrigation dikes, or carrying bundles of reeds and clay for construction, your body has learned the rhythm of repetitive labor. Muscles tighten, relax, and adjust with each movement. Hands, hardened by constant work, grip tools with practiced ease. Even the smallest slip could result in spilt water, broken clay, or damaged crops, so attention is unwavering. The rivers glisten in the afternoon sun, deceptively calm. You know their moods are unpredictable. Too much water, and the fields you've carefully planted could be flooded and ruined. Too little, and the crops will wither under the relentless heat. Each irrigation channel, each small furrow, each carefully placed bundle of seeds represents hours of planning and labor. You watch as water trickles through the channels you helped construct, feeling a quiet pride. These rivers, both a lifeline and a threat, define your day and your survival. Occasionally, your neighbors pass by, calling greetings or commenting on the day's work. Even in such a harsh environment, the sense of community is palpable. Mutual aid is crucial. Helping with a heavy load, lending a hand with irrigation, or sharing a bit of water or food can make the difference between a tolerable day and a disastrous one. Social bonds are not just cultural, they are survival mechanisms, forged over generations in a land that demands cooperation as much as endurance. The city seems to shimmer under the sun's intensity. Mud brick walls radiate heat, dust rises in tiny spirals, and every shadow offers a fleeting respite. You take small sips from your clay water jar, careful not to waste even a drop. The taste is familiar, mineral-rich and earthy, a reminder that life continues even under relentless conditions. Hunger gnaws faintly, but the midday meal lingers, just enough to carry you through. By late afternoon, labor slows. Tasks are completed as best as possible. The rivers will not wait, but the heat has reached its peak, and human endurance has limits. You begin the walk back to your home, carrying what tools or small harvested goods you can. The streets are quieter now, some merchants packing up, children seeking shade, animals resting from the heat. The city, like you, seems to exhale in the later hours, a temporary relief before the final stretch of day. Finally, you step back into your mud brick home. The familiar scent of dried clay, dust, and residual cooking aromas welcomes you. The courtyard, still warm from the sun, is now your domain for evening chores, preparing water for cooking, tending small storage containers of grains and beans, and starting the fire for the evening meal. The mat you slept on this morning awaits your rest, a simple refuge after a day defined by heat, labor, and survival. Sitting down for a moment, you reflect on the day. Every action, every step, every sip of water, every movement of soil and tool was a choice made in the shadow of the sun and rivers. Survival here is neither heroic nor glamorous. It is steady, repetitive, and unforgiving. Yet, within this ordinary struggle lies a rhythm, a connection to the land, the city, and the generations that have endured before you. In Sumer, every day survived is a quiet triumph. Around 3000 BCE, life in Sumer revolves around survival. And nothing underscores that more than food and water. You wake to the faint gray light seeping through the gaps in your mud brick walls, already aware of the day's first challenge, nourishment. Water is scarce, meals are simple, and every resource is carefully measured. The rivers flow nearby, but they are far from safe. Animals drink from them, people bathe in them, and occasionally the currents carry grim reminders of human mortality. Every drop must be earned, every grain conserved. Your house is quiet, save for the distant sounds of neighbors beginning their own routines. The packed earth floor beneath your reed mat radiates the residual heat of yesterday's sun. Your body aches from sleep on the stiff mat, the imprint of woven reeds pressed into your back. Thirst clings to your throat, dry and scratchy, and you reach instinctively for the small clay jar of water stored in the corner. The cool touch against your palm is comforting. You tilt it, letting a few precious sips coat your tongue and ease the dryness. The taste is earthy, mineral-rich, faintly metallic, a reminder that survival is never simple. The courtyard is your kitchen, your workspace, your center of life. Firewood is already gathered from yesterday, stacked neatly near the small hearth. Barley, beans, and a few root vegetables wait in clay jars, their earthy aromas mingling with the faint scent of mud and last night's cooking smoke. Breakfast is humble: barley porridge, boiled until soft, sprinkled with lentils or dried onions if you are fortunate. Onions are everywhere in Sumer, sharp and pungent, a constant presence in meals from morning to night. Their aroma fills the courtyard, overpowering and familiar, a scent that defines your existence. As you prepare the porridge, the sun begins to rise higher, filtering light through the courtyard and casting shadows across the mud walls. Cooking is a delicate task. Too much heat and the grains stick to the bottom of the clay pot. Too little and they remain inedible. You stir carefully, feeling the warmth radiate through your hands, and inhale the smell of slowly simmering barley. Nearby, a neighbor tends a small oven, shaping flatbreads for the family, and occasionally the market. The scent of baking bread cuts through the stronger onion smell, an olfactory signal that the day's first sustenance is almost ready. Meals in Sumer are not about pleasure, they are about fuel. Every bite is calculated, a measure against the labor, heat, and thirst that await. You scoop small portions of porridge into clay bowls, tasting cautiously. The texture is coarse, the flavor mild but filling. Water is consumed sparingly, just enough to swallow the grains and quench the edge of thirst. Every sip, every mouthful is precious. Waste is unthinkable. As you eat, you watch the courtyard come alive. Neighbors move about, children run barefoot across the packed earth, and the city beyond begins to stir. Life is messy, dusty, and fragrant, but there is rhythm and order in the chaos. Breakfast marks the start of your day, not as an indulgence, but as preparation. Soon the heat will intensify, the work will demand your strength, and the rivers will dictate the limits of survival. For now, this humble meal fuels you for the challenge ahead. In Sumer, water is life, and yet it is never simple. Though the mighty Tigris and Euphrates flow nearby, their waters cannot be trusted without careful collection and preparation. Animals drink freely from the rivers, people bathe in them, and sometimes the currents carry the tragic evidence of those who did not survive. For ordinary citizens like you, water is rationed, precious, and constantly managed. A single misstep, a spill, contamination, or overuse could mean discomfort or worse for the day. You rise early, before the sun fully claims the sky, and make your way to the communal well. The streets are narrow, lined with mud brick homes, their thick walls already radiating warmth. Dust clings to your feet and clothes, stirred up by passing neighbors. Each step is deliberate, careful not to jar the heavy clay jar you carry. The jar is a lifeline, modest in size, but essential. Its clay surface is cool against your palm, a small comfort in the growing heat of the day. At the well, you are not alone. Others have arrived before you, performing the same routine. The well is a hub of activity, quiet but purposeful. Each person lowers their rope, feeling the coarse fibers scrape against their hands as the water rises slowly from the depths. Conversations are minimal. Polite greetings exchanged between neighbors who understand that time is limited and efficiency is vital. You wait patiently for your turn, aware that others depend on you to act swiftly but carefully. Once your jar is filled, you take a moment to let the water settle. This is essential. The rivers carry silt, sand, and sometimes more unsettling debris. Settling allows the heavier particles to sink, leaving the water safer for drinking and cooking. You carry the jar back through the sun-drenched streets, careful not to spill a drop. Each step is measured, your body moving in rhythm with the weight and the anticipation of the day ahead. Back at your home, you pour the water into smaller containers for household use. Some will be reserved for cooking, some for drinking, and a tiny portion for cleaning. Every drop has a purpose, and nothing is wasted. The process is methodical. Clay jars are stacked, water is rationed, and the household adapts to its limited supply. Children are instructed to sip only when necessary. Elders monitor carefully, and even pets, if any, are given just enough. The rivers are abundant, yes, but only at a distance. Here, survival depends on careful management. Water is more than a resource. It is a measure of control over your environment. The irrigation channels you helped maintain, the crops you tend, and the clay walls that shade your home all depend on this liquid. It shapes your daily routine, dictates your labor, and informs every decision you make. To drink freely is a luxury the Sumerians rarely know. Yet, within these constraints, you find rhythm and order, a sip to quench thirst, a careful pour to soften grains for cooking, a measured splash to clean hands and utensils. By the time the sun rises fully, the work of water management is complete, at least until the next round. You take a moment to observe the city from your courtyard. Neighbors moving about, children running barefoot, merchants preparing goods for market, and animals stirring in shaded corners. Life continues in rhythm with the rivers, a dance of survival that repeats day after day, season after season. Every container filled, every sip measured, every drop accounted for is a small victory in the relentless reality of Sumerian life. By the time the sun reaches its zenith, the heat of Sumer is nearly unbearable. Dust rises in faint clouds from the streets, and every mud brick wall radiates warmth like a slow-burning oven. You pause briefly in your courtyard, feeling the oppressive weight of the afternoon sun on your shoulders, and think of the next task, preparing the midday meal. Food in Sumer is not about indulgence. It is about survival, energy for labor, and sustenance for the family. The main ingredients are familiar, predictable, and humble. Barley remains the staple, shaped into small cakes or boiled into a porridge. Beans, lentils, and onions accompany it, sometimes mixed together for a modest stew. Occasionally, dried fish or honey is added if the household has the fortune of extra resources. Every item is carefully measured, nothing extravagant. The process of preparation is as vital as the meal itself. You begin by tending the hearth. Firewood is stacked in small bundles nearby, reeds carefully arranged to encourage a slow, steady flame. Too much heat risks burning the food. Too little, and grains remain tough and unpalatable. Clay pots are filled with water, drawn earlier from the communal well, and set to boil. The earthy scent of the water, mingling with the aroma of dried grains and onions, fills the courtyard. Even the simplest meals carry an olfactory signature that defines the rhythm of daily life. Chopping onions is a task both mundane and enduring. Their pungent aroma stings your eyes, but it is necessary. Onions, raw or cooked, are an essential part of the Sumerian diet, providing flavor and sustenance. You slice them thinly, adding them to the boiling barley with careful hands. The combination bubbles gently, steam rising and carrying a rich, earthy smell across the open courtyard. Even in the sweltering heat, this small ritual connects you to centuries of tradition. A daily reminder that life continues in spite of the harsh climate. While the food cooks, you glance around the household. Clay jars with grains and beans are stacked carefully. Small bundles of reeds and firewood neatly arranged, and the packed earth floor is swept of dust as best as possible. Every detail matters. Cleanliness is limited by the scarcity of water, yet every effort is made to maintain order. Even in the simplest tasks, a rhythm emerges. Measure, pour, stir, monitor, adjust. Life in Sumer is repetitive, yes, but repetition breeds efficiency and survival. Finally, the meal is ready. You scoop portions into small clay bowls, careful to leave enough for later. Each mouthful is savored, not for pleasure, but necessity, nourishing the body for the work that remains under the punishing sun. Water accompanies the meal, sipped sparingly to ease the dryness in the throat. The courtyard is quiet for a moment. Only the faint hum of the city in the distance a marketplace. Children playing, neighbors moving through the narrow streets. Even in this brief pause, you feel the pulse of life, bound tightly to the labor, the rivers, and the land. By the end of the meal, energy restored in measured increments, you prepare to return to labor, aware that the heat will not relent, and the rivers will continue to dictate survival. Food and water are not luxuries here. They are essential, woven into the daily rhythm that governs every action, every decision, every breath in this ancient land. As the sun arcs across the sky, the heat in Sumer reaches its relentless peak. Mud brick walls radiate warmth, dust rises from the streets, and even the air itself feels thick, heavy, almost viscous. For ordinary citizens like you, the day is a delicate balance between labor, hydration, and nourishment. Every grain, every sip of water, every bite of food is carefully measured and accounted for. There is no abundance, here only survival. After the midday meal, attention turns to storage and rationing. The clay jars that hold barley, beans, lentils, and dried vegetables are examined meticulously. You ensure the lids fit tightly, that the contents are dry and free from pests, and that portions are allocated for the coming hours. In Sumer, food scarcity is a constant concern. Floods, droughts, and the unpredictability of river flow mean that every measure counts. Even the smallest mistake of ruse, spoilage, or theft can have serious consequences. You prepare small portions for the family's next meal. Flatbreads are sliced and stacked carefully on low mud platforms. Dried beans measured into small bowls, and barley cakes stored under the shade of the central courtyard. Children, curious and restless, hover nearby, eager for the simple joys of a bite or a sip of water. You instruct them to wait, to respect the rations, knowing that patience and discipline are as important as the food itself. Water, too, is carefully monitored. Some is set aside for cooking the evening meal, a small portion for drinking, and a few drops for washing small cloths or utensils. The jars themselves are cleaned and repositioned, stacked so that heavier containers do not crush the smaller, fragile ones. Everything has its place, every object its purpose. In a land where resources are scarce, organization is a form of survival. The courtyard, your workspace for these tasks, is now alive with the quiet rhythm of household maintenance. Dust rises in small eddies as you move, the scent of earth and dried grains filling the air. You glance around, noting the warmth of the sun on the mud bricks, the soft light filtering through small openings near the ceiling, and the ever-present smell of onions lingering faintly in the corners. These sensory details are constants in your life, grounding you even as the environment demands vigilance and endurance. By mid-afternoon, the work of rationing and storage is complete. You take a moment to observe the household, the city beyond, and the rivers that sustain and threaten alike. Each portion of food, each carefully measured sip of water, represents not just survival, but strategy. Life in Sumer is a constant negotiation with the elements, with scarcity, and with the rhythms of labor and community. By attending to these details, you ensure that your family will endure the coming hours, the next day, and perhaps the next season. In this moment, there is quiet pride. Though the heat presses down, though labor is relentless, though resources are limited, you have done your part. The jars are filled, the rations measured, and the household prepared. Every small action is part of a larger pattern, a rhythm of endurance that defines life in this ancient civilization. The sun begins its slow descent, casting long shadows across the packed earth streets and mud brick walls of the city. The heat, though still intense, softens slightly in the evening light, offering a fragile reprieve. For ordinary Sumerians, this time marks a return to the household, the preparation of the evening meal, and a brief moment of reflection on the day's survival. Every day is measured by the success of these simple acts: nourishment, hydration, and the careful maintenance of resources. You step into the courtyard, the central hub of your home, carrying a clay jar of water. The aroma of cooking fires already fills the space, mingling with the lingering scents of dried grains, lentils, and onions. The fire is lit, reeds arranged carefully to maintain a steady, moderate heat. Tonight's meal is humble but nourishing. barley cakes mixed with mashed beans, sprinkled with chopped onions, and occasionally a small portion of dried fish if the household has any. The repetition is comforting in a strange way. Meals are not about variety or luxury, but about consistency, sustenance, and survival. As you prepare the food, you notice the subtle details of the courtyard in the waning light. Mud brick walls glow faintly orange, dust drifts lazily in the gentle evening breeze, and small ventilation openings allow a hint of cool air to circulate. The central courtyard, open to the sky, is alive with the quiet rhythm of household life. Children move carefully, mimicking adult chores, while neighbors pass briefly, exchanging greetings and small bits of news. Even in the harshness of Sumer, social bonds endure. Small acts of connection woven into the fabric of survival. Serving the meal is a ritual. Portions are carefully measured, each bite and sip accounted for. Water is poured sparingly from the clay jar, barley cakes and mashed beans arranged in small clay bowls. The aroma is earthy and comforting, the taste simple but sustaining. With every bite, your body recovers a little from the day's labor and heat. Hunger is eased, thirst is quenched, and the familiar rhythm of life provides a small, satisfying reassurance. After the meal, there is a brief moment of reflection. The day has been survived labor, completed, water managed, food consumed, and resources preserved for the coming hours. The sun sinks lower, and the city begins to quiet. Streets empty gradually as merchants close their stalls. Children retreat indoors, and the relentless heat starts to fade into a more tolerable warmth. You sit for a moment on the packed earth floor or the familiar reed mat, feeling the aches in your muscles, the dryness in your throat, and the satisfaction of a day endured, even in a world governed by heat, dust, and scarcity. These small routines, meal preparation, careful rationing, and shared water form the backbone of life. They are reminders that survival is not heroic or dramatic. It is steady, repetitive, and profoundly human. As night falls and the first stars emerge over the mud brick skyline, you are reminded of your connection to the rivers, the land, and the city itself. Every day survived is a testament to endurance, adaptation, and the quiet triumphs of ordinary life. Finally, you prepare for sleep, knowing the cycle will begin again at dawn. The clay jar is set aside, portions of food saved, and the hearth embers left to cool. Outside, the distant rivers glimmer under the fading light, a reminder of the life they bring and the threats they pose. Life in Sumer is unforgiving, but within its daily rituals, there is rhythm, resilience, and continuity. The first light of dawn filters weakly through the gaps in the reed walls, casting a pale glow on the mud brick courtyard. Today, like every day, begins with labor. But unlike the fields or household chores, your work demands skill, precision, and endurance. You are an artisan in Sumer, one among countless craftspeople whose hands shape the material culture of the city. From clay tablets etched with cuneiform to pottery vessels for storage, your craft is both a necessity and a connection to the rhythms of city life. Rising from your reed mat, you feel the familiar ache in your shoulders and back. The packed earth floor beneath is already warmed by the previous day's sun, and the air feels thick, heavy with humidity and dust. Reaching for the small clay jar of water in the corner, you sip slowly, letting the cool liquid moisten your throat and ease the dryness that clings stubbornly from yesterday's labor. Every morning begins with this ritual, a small measure of comfort before the workday begins. Stepping into the central courtyard, you prepare the workspace. Mud brick walls surround the area with small ventilation openings near the ceiling, letting in fresh air and light. Tools are arranged carefully. Wooden mallets, red brushes, and small clay knives sit within reach, each one shaped over years of use. Clay for tablets or pottery is soaked and kneaded, its coolness a stark contrast to the intensifying warmth of the day. Barley husks, reeds, and other raw materials are stacked neatly nearby, ready for crafting or packaging. The city outside hums faintly. Merchants set up stalls, carts rattle across the streets, and children run barefoot along the packed earth. Even the noise of labor elsewhere, blacksmiths hammering, carpenters sawing, and farmers tending fields, creates a rhythm that echoes through the air. Your own hands, however, are focused on the delicate task ahead. Precision is essential. A misaligned etching, a cracked pot, or a poorly shaped tool can mean wasted materials or lost trade opportunities. Every movement is deliberate, every decision consequential. You begin with clay tablets, pressing each one into shape and smoothing the surface with damp hands. Using a small stylus, you etch cuneiform symbols, the script that records trade, law, and daily life. The clay is soft but firm, receptive to your touch. The repetition is meditative in a strange way, connecting you not only to the task at hand, but to generations of scribes and artisans before you. The afternoon will demand physical endurance, but mornings are for focus and precision. Meanwhile, the smells of the city mingle with the aroma of wet clay. Dust, sweat, and the faint scent of onions from nearby households drift in the air, blending into a uniquely Sumerian sensory landscape. Even in the sweltering heat, there is satisfaction in creation, in the tangible results of your labor. Pottery vessels take shape, tablets dry and harden, and tools are prepared for sale or trade. Your craft, though ordinary, sustains families, supports trade, and ensures the functioning of the city. As the sun climbs higher, you pause briefly to sip water, feeling the precious liquid revive your body. The city's hum continues, a backdrop to your meticulous work. Every tablet etched, every vessel shaped, every reed or tool prepared. Work in this city is not just labor, is the heartbeat of civilization itself. The morning's light has strengthened, spilling fully into the courtyard. Your hands are already coated in clay, fingers stiff from shaping tablets and smoothing the surfaces of pottery. Today, the work extends beyond the workshop. Sumerian artisans are not isolated. Their craft connects directly to trade, labor, and the survival of the city. Every tablet you etch, every pot you form, will travel to households, markets, and sometimes even distant city-states along the rivers. Your skill is the invisible thread binding the city together. You organize your tools carefully before leaving the workshop. Wooden mallets, red brushes, and clay knives are secured. Baskets for carrying pottery or bundles of reeds are arranged. Every tool has a purpose. Nothing is left to chance. Even the weight of the materials is considered. Heavy loads can crush fragile items, while too light a bundle risks wasting time and labor. Your efficiency will determine how much can be transported and how many goods reach the marketplace intact. The city streets are already bustling. Merchants shout prices, children run barefoot, and donkeys and oxen plod along the dusty lanes, carrying goods to and from workshops. You navigate carefully, aware of the weight in your arms and the fragility of the clay beneath. The smell of the city is thick and layered. Smoke from cooking fires, the pungency of onions and barley, the earthy scent of wet clay, and the faint tank of the rivers nearby. This combination is constant, grounding you in the city's rhythms. Trade is essential to survival. Your pottery might be exchanged for barley, fish, or tools. A well-etched clay tablet records transactions, debts, or legal matters. Even the simplest object holds value because it supports daily life and city infrastructure. As you approach the market area, you pass other artisans and laborers, each carrying their own tools and products. Cooperation and competition coexist. Neighbors are both allies and rivals, but all are united by the necessity of work and trade. You arrive at a shaded area near the marketplace to deliver today's goods. The process is methodical. Pots are stacked carefully, clay tablets laid out to dry, and any broken or imperfect items set aside for recycling. Merchants examine your work, inspecting quality and negotiating trade. Even in these mundane interactions, your survival is intertwined with commerce. A miscalculated trade or damaged good could mean less food for the household or fewer materials for tomorrow's work. By mid-morning, the courtyard returns to relative quiet. You carry back empty baskets, rearranging tools and cleaning the workspace. The rhythm of labor is continuous. Prepare, transport, trade, return, repeat. Sweat clings to your skin, dust layers your hands, and the warmth of the sun radiates from every surface. Yet, there is satisfaction in contribution. Each item produced and traded sustains families, supports city infrastructure, and allows life to continue under the harsh conditions of Sumer. Finally, you pause to sip water, the cool liquid reviving muscles stiff from labor. Your eyes sweep the city, merchants negotiating, children playing in narrow streets, smoke rising from distant hearths. The flow of work, trade, and life is unending. Here, labor is not just a task. It is the pulse of civilization, the mechanism by which survival and culture intertwine. Every tool, every basket, every carefully shaped tablet represents a thread in the complex tapestry of Sumerian life. The sun climbs higher, and the heat of Sumer becomes nearly tangible, radiating off the packed earth and mud brick walls. Your morning in the workshop has prepared the tools and products for trade, but now your labor shifts to the fields. Even as an artisan, you are connected to agriculture. For the city cannot survive without grain, vegetables, and irrigation systems maintained by the hands of its people. Craft and fieldwork are intertwined. One sustains the other, and both demand endurance. Stepping into the city streets, you carry bundles of reeds, small baskets of grain, or pottery vessels for storing water, destined for the nearby fields. Dust rises with each step, sunlight bouncing off the surfaces of mud brick buildings. The air is thick with the scent of the earth, wet clay, and faint traces of cooking fires. Around you, other laborers move with purpose, farmers tending barley fields, artisans transporting goods, and children running barefoot, playing between chores. Every figure contributes to the pulse of survival. Arriving at the irrigation channels, you see the fruits of previous labor. Carefully constructed dikes guide the water from the Tigris and Euphrates into the fields. Without this precision, crops would wither in the sun or drown in unpredictable floods. Your task is to reinforce the channels, repair weak spots, and distribute clay or reed vessels to nearby farmers for water storage. The work is hot and physically demanding, but essential. Each repair, each measurement of water, and each bundle placed correctly is a small act of survival, a safeguard against scarcity. You kneel by a narrow channel, pressing mud and reeds into place to reinforce a weak bank. Hands coated in damp clay, you feel the earth give slightly beneath your fingers. It is hard work, repetitive and exhausting, yet there is rhythm. The sun beats down relentlessly, sweat drips into your eyes, and every movement must be deliberate. Too little pressure, and the channel fails. Too much, and the reeds and clay may crack or shift. Precision and endurance are inseparable here. Nearby, a small group of artisans carries baskets of fresh pottery and clay vessels for storage. These objects will hold grain, beans, or water, protecting them from pests, contamination, and heat. Even the smallest items are vital to survival, extending the work of the fields into sustenance for families. You exchange brief greetings, coordinating labor and sharing resources. Cooperation is key. Every individual depends on the other for the city to thrive, despite the harshness of the climate. By mid-afternoon, the fieldwork reaches a temporary pause. Irrigation channels are reinforced, tools stored carefully, and the water distribution organized for the next round. Your hands are raw, fingers stiff from clay and soil, but the work is done for now. You pause to sip water from a small clay jar, appreciating the coolness and the small relief it brings. Even in the unforgiving heat, moments like this remind you that your labor sustains life. As you look across the fields, the rivers glitter in the distance, a constant reminder of life, danger, and necessity. The crops, tools, and vessels you helped manage are part of an intricate system, one that allows Sumerian civilization to endure day after day. Craft and fieldwork are inseparable. Each depends on the other, and each reflects the tireless rhythm of survival in a harsh but structured world. The afternoon sun beats down on the narrow streets of Sumer, turning the packed earth into a furnace. You arrive at the marketplace, carrying baskets of freshly crafted pottery, clay tablets, and tools. Trade is the lifeblood of the city, linking artisans, farmers, and merchants in a network of survival and cooperation. Every item you bring has value, just in itself, but in the labor, skill, and resources invested in creating it. The marketplace is alive with activity. Merchants shout prices, buyers inspect goods, and the smell of cooked food mingles with the pungent aroma of onions and barley from nearby households. Children weave between adults, dodging carts and donkeys. Every corner of the market hums with purpose, exchange, negotiation, and the constant rhythm of labor. Here, your skill is both demonstrated and measured. Flawed pottery or poorly etched tablets lose value instantly, while precision and care earn respect and trade. You arrange your goods carefully, Clay pots are stacked to avoid cracks, and tablets are laid flat to prevent warping in the heat. Reed brushes and wooden mallets sit neatly nearby, ready for immediate sale or exchange. Customers inspect each item closely, tapping the surfaces, feeling the weight, and examining the craftsmanship. Even a slight imperfection can affect a transaction. Every gesture, every placement is a careful display of skill honed through years of labor. Negotiations begin. Prices are discussed. Goods exchanged for barley, beans, water jars, or labor for future projects. Barter, not coin, is the standard. The system is flexible but unforgiving. Misjudging a trade could mean a family goes hungry or lacks materials for the next day. Merchants, skilled in both persuasion and observation, assess your confidence, experience, and quality of your work before agreeing. The marketplace is a test as much as a place of commerce. While selling your goods, you observe the flow of the city. Farmers return with harvest, carrying baskets of grain, reeds, and small produce. Other artisans bring tools, weaving materials, and finished crafts. Everyone depends on everyone else. Your pottery will hold their grains, the tablets will record their trades, and the reeds you carry will reinforce irrigation channels. Life in Sumer is a web of interconnected tasks, skill, and trade, and the market is its visible pulse. As the sun begins to dip, the heat softens slightly, and trade slows. Unsold items are carefully packed for return to the workshop, where they will be stored, repaired, or redistributed. Every object is accounted for, every loss noted. Even in exhaustion, there is satisfaction today. You contributed to the flow of the city, maintained survival networks, and displayed skill that ensures respect and sustenance. By late afternoon, the marketplace quiets. Merchants close stalls, children tire, and the city's laborers begin their walk home. You carry remaining goods back to the courtyard, ready to prepare for the evening meal and rest. In this repetitive rhythm work, trade returnalize the heart of Sumerian life. Skill, labor, and trade are not separate acts. They are intertwined, forming the structure of civilization itself. The sun sinks low over the mud brick skyline, casting long, warm shadows across the packed earth streets. The heat of the day gradually softens, replaced by the gentler glow of evening. You carry the last baskets of unsold pottery and remaining clay tablets back to your courtyard. The journey is familiar. Narrow streets, the faint hum of neighbors finishing chores, children chasing each other in fading light. The city is alive, yet tired, like you. And the rhythm of survival continues. Back at home, the courtyard feels like a sanctuary. Mud brick walls radiate residual warmth from the sun, and the scent of earth, clay, and faint cooking fires fills the air. You set down the baskets carefully, mindful not to damage the day's labor. Every piece of pottery, every tablet represents hours of effort, skill, and endurance. The act of returning home is both practical and symbolic. The city outside thrives because of your work, yet survival is rooted in the household, the hearth, and the careful management of resources. Evening chores begin. Water is distributed for cooking, small amounts set aside for drinking, and clay jars are checked and secured. Barley, beans, and dried vegetables are measured for the evening meal. Firewood is prepared for the hearth, and reeds and tools are stored neatly. In Sumer, organization is not optional, it is survival. Every action, no matter how small, is deliberate and purposeful. Even as exhaustion weighs on your body, there is satisfaction in order, in knowing that the household is prepared for the night and the coming day. The evening meal is simple, but vital. Barley cakes with mashed beans, onions sprinkled in for flavor, and water sipped sparingly to quench thirst. The aroma of cooking blends with the lingering smell of mud, dust, and clay, a familiar scent that defines your life. You eat slowly, savoring nourishment, not for pleasure, but necessity. Each bite restores energy. Each sip of water refreshes parched muscles. And each moment of pause is a rare reprieve from relentless labor. After the meal, you sit on the reed mat, stretching tired limbs and observing the courtyard bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The city beyond is quieting. The marketplace empty, streets calm, and distant rivers glimmer under the fading light. For a moment, time seems to slow. You reflect on the day, the morning spent shaping clay, the hours reinforcing irrigation channels, the trades negotiated in the bustling market, and the careful management of food and water. Each task, mundane yet essential, contributed to the survival of family, city, and civilization. Even in exhaustion, there is pride. Life in Sumer is harsh, defined by heat, labor, and scarcity, but also by endurance, skill, and adaptation. Every action, crafting, trading, managing resources, is a link in the chain that sustains the city. You rest, knowing that the cycle will begin again at dawn, that survival is not a single dramatic event, but a repetition of careful, deliberate choices. The reed mat beneath you may be stiff, the air warm, and the thirst lingering, yet there is rhythm and continuity, a quiet triumph in each day endured as night deepens. Stars emerge over the mud brick skyline, reflecting in the distant rivers. The city sleeps in measured breaths. Tomorrow, labor, trade, and survival will resume. Tonight, you rest, immersed in the tangible results of your work, the security of your household, and the unbroken rhythm of life in the first light of dawn creeps through the narrow openings of the mud brick walls, spilling into the courtyard where your household begins to stir. In Sumer, family life is both a source of comfort and a necessity for survival. Every member has a role, small or large, in maintaining the household, managing resources, and ensuring the survival of the city itself. The morning begins with quiet but deliberate movement, each action carefully timed and coordinated. Feeling the imprint of woven reeds on your back, and reach for the clay jar of water to ease the dryness in your throat. Children begin to stir, rubbing sleep from their eyes, their small bodies stretching and yawning on similar mats. The eldest may already be fetching water or checking grain stores, while younger siblings are guided through the morning routine of washing faces and hands with small amounts of precious water. Hygiene is practical, not indulgent. Every drop counts, and every task contributes to the household's survival. The courtyard comes alive with the sounds of activity, hushed voices, the scrape of a clay pot, the rustle of mats being folded and stored, and the faint laughter of children finding brief joy in the routine. Parents coordinate chores, ensuring that each task, cooking, cleaning, tending small gardens, or preparing tools, is completed efficiently. Everyone is accountable, and the rhythm of labor is ingrained from an early age. Even play is purposeful, teaching children coordination, awareness of surroundings, and responsibility within the household. Breakfast is simple but essential. Barley porridge, a few beans, perhaps some chopped onions, and water measured carefully to quench thirst without waste. The scents mingle in the courtyard, the earthy aroma of barley, the pungency of onions, the faint mineral smell of water from the clay jar. Eating together reinforces not only nourishment, but connection. Conversations are brief but meaningful, reminders about chores, small lessons, and encouragements that bind the household together. Every interaction is a form of education, a reinforcement of survival skills, and an expression of care. After breakfast, labor begins. Parents may head toward fields, workshops, or marketplaces, while children assist with smaller tasks around the household. Even the youngest members contribute, fetching small bundles of reeds, arranging tools, or carrying water to the cooking area. Responsibility is distributed based on age and skill, and every contribution is valued. The household operates like a miniature community, a microcosm of the larger city, where cooperation and labor are intertwined. Despite the hardships, the heat, the dust, and the scarcity of water, there is warmth in shared activity. Tasks that might feel isolating when done alone become moments of connection when performed together. Every scoop of water, every measure of grain, every stirring of porridge is a small act of care, a thread that strengthens the household's resilience. Life in Sumer is harsh, but family structures provide rhythm, routine, and emotional sustenance in a world governed by survival. By mid-morning, the household is fully engaged in its daily responsibilities. Children run small errands, adults prepare for the day's labor, and the courtyard remains the hub of life, connecting family to the wider rhythms of the city. The sun rises higher, casting long shadows and intensifying the heat. But within the walls of the home, there is order, cooperation, and a quiet determination to endure. Family life in Sumer is not leisurely or indulgent. It is structured, purposeful, and essential to survival. The sun has climbed higher, and the heat of Sumer begins to press down on the city. In your courtyard, family life transitions from morning rituals into daily chores. Every member has a role, from adults managing labor and trade to children learning responsibility through simple tasks. Survival depends on cooperation, and these routines are as vital as food, water, and labor. The children are already engaged in assigned chores. The eldest fetches small containers of water from the courtyard's clay jars, careful not to spill a drop. Younger siblings sweep dust from the packed earth floor, stacked bundles of reeds neatly, and carry small portions of barley to the cooking area. Even play has purpose, weaving simple mats, balancing small clay pots, or running errands reinforces coordination, attention, and responsibility. Every movement is training for future survival in the harsh environment. Adults focus on labor and management. You tend to the household tools, arranging them for the day's work in the fields or workshop. Clay pots are inspected for cracks, and jars of grain and beans are measured for the next meal. Firewood is collected and stacked carefully near the hearth, and small gardens or containers of herbs and vegetables are checked. In Sumer, nothing is left to chance. Preparation and organization are critical. Water is monitored constantly. Small vessels are allocated for cooking, drinking, and cleaning, each drop measured to prevent waste. Even cleaning tasks are deliberate, wiping a clay pot, scrubbing a small surface with minimal water, or sweeping dust from the courtyard ensures efficiency. Life is an intricate balance between effort and resource conservation. One misstep, spilled water, cracked pot, or forgotten ration could create discomfort or scarcity later in the day. Cooking continues alongside these chores. Barley porridge simmers over the hearth. Onions are chopped for the next meal, and beans are soaked in preparation for later. The aroma fills the courtyard, blending with the earthy scent of mud brick walls, dust, and faint sweat from early labor. Meals are prepared with care, not for indulgence, but for sustenance. Every bite must fuel the body for survival, whether in the household or the fields, whether in trade or irrigation work. Even in these seemingly mundane tasks, there is a rhythm, a structure that organizes daily life. Children learn responsibility, adults maintain the household, and every action reinforces the delicate balance of survival. Conversations are minimal but meaningful, reminders of chores, instructions for tasks, or words of encouragement. These interactions reinforce bonds, teach lessons, and cultivate resilience. By mid-afternoon, the courtyard is alive with activity and structure. Children rest briefly, adults assess remaining tasks, and preparations for the evening meal begin. Though the heat is oppressive and labor constant, these routines connect family members, establish purpose, and sustain the household. Family life in Sumer is a blend of survival, education, and cooperation, a microcosm of the city itself. Every chore, every task, every small act of care reinforces the rhythm that allows life to continue in a harsh and unforgiving land. By late morning, the heat in the city intensifies, but life in Sumer never pauses. From your courtyard, you observe neighbors emerging, heading toward workshops, markets, or fields. Family life extends beyond the household. Survival relies on cooperation and interaction within the wider community. Every exchange of labor, advice, or resources strengthens the bonds that allow the city to endure. You step out briefly, carrying a small basket of barley to a neighbor's home. A quick greeting is exchanged, a nod, a few words, a gesture indicating mutual respect and shared understanding. In Sumer, even brief interactions have purpose. Perhaps they are lending tools, exchanging surplus grain, or sharing news of river conditions that could affect irrigation. Trust and reliability are currency as vital as barley or water. Children also engage in social learning. While adults manage labor and resources, they observe, imitate, and interact with other children. Play is both recreation and education, racing across dusty streets, carrying small clay pots, or practicing simple tasks they will one day perform for the household. Through these interactions, knowledge of community, cooperation, and survival is passed down seamlessly from generation to generation. Adults continue their work, but often coordinate with neighbors. Craftspeople trade tools or clay. Farmers compare irrigation techniques, and families share advice on rationing food or water. Small gestures of borrowed reed, a tip for pottery shaping, a shared bucket of water build networks of mutual support. The city is a living organism, and the health of each household contributes to the strength of the whole in the central marketplace. Goods and services are exchanged beyond simple barter. Clay pots from your workshop might be traded for vegetables, fish, or even small livestock. Traders and artisans demonstrate skill openly, signaling reliability, precision, and honesty. These interactions reinforce social cohesion, establishing hierarchies of skill and trust. Even minor errors in trade or craftsmanship could damage reputation, emphasizing the delicate balance between skill, cooperation, and survival. Communication is practical, yet rich with nuance. Greetings, gestures, and small favors carry meaning. When a neighbor offers assistance with a heavy load or shares water during an especially hot day, it is a bond of survival reinforced through repeated acts of care. Community life in Sumer is not leisurely, it is functional, reciprocal, and deeply integrated into every household's routines. By afternoon, the collective rhythm of labor, interaction, and support sustains the city. Families return to their courtyards, children rest briefly, and the marketplace quiets as the sun climbs high. Though the environment is harsh, the city thrives through cooperation. Relationships built on trust, shared labor, and mutual aid are the glue that binds households together. Life in Sumer is not only survival, it is survival intertwined with social structure, collaboration, and the subtle art of maintaining bonds in a demanding environment. Even brief exchanges leave an imprint: a neighbor's advice for repairing a reed mat, a child learning a practical task from a peer, or a barter ensuring food reaches another family. These acts, repeated daily, cultivate resilience and continuity. By the time you return to your courtyard, the day's interactions have strengthened your household's ability to endure, connect, and contribute to the larger city. As the sun dips toward the horizon, the oppressive heat of Sumer begins to wane. Shadows stretch across the mud-brick courtyards, and the soft glow of evening invites households to pause from labor and gather. In this fleeting respite, family and community come together not just for food, but for connection, storytelling, and the preservation of memory and tradition. Life in Sumer is harsh, yet these moments offer both comfort and continuity. The courtyard is arranged carefully for the evening. Reed mats are spread on the packed earth floor, clay pots of water placed within easy reach, and small portions of barley and beans laid out for a shared meal. Children cluster close to parents, listening intently, while older siblings help distribute food and utensils. The aroma of cooked grains and onions mingles with the earthy scent of mud-brick walls, signaling the transition from labor to leisure, from survival to reflection. Stories are central to these gatherings. Elders recount tales of gods, rivers, and the founding of city-states, weaving lessons about morality, strategy, and endurance into narratives of myth and history. The Tigris and Euphrates are more than water sources. They are living entities in the story's unpredictable yet life-giving, shaping every aspect of existence. Through these tales, children learn the rhythms of their environment, the values of their society, and the skills necessary to navigate a world dictated by labor, scarcity, and climate. Adults participate as both listeners and narrators. Some recount personal experiences, challenges in trade, clever solutions in irrigation, or lessons learned from failed attempts at crafting. Others reinforce practical knowledge: when to plant barley, how to prepare clay for tablets, or the best methods for rationing water. Storytelling blends seamlessly with instruction, ensuring that every narrative carries both cultural and survival significance. Evening gatherings reinforce social bonds. Neighbors may join, bringing small portions of food or water, offering help, or sharing news from other parts of the city. Children learn to observe, listen, and engage respectfully, while adults cultivate trust and collaboration. In Sumer, such exchanges are not mere entertainment. They are essential for social cohesion and continuity. The household exists within a wider network, and storytelling ensures that knowledge, memory, and cooperation are preserved across generations. As night deepens, flames from small hearths flicker, casting dancing shadows on the mud brick walls. The air cools slightly, carrying scents of dust, cooking, and distant rivers. Conversation slows, laughter softens, and the rhythm of breathing becomes the dominant sound. Barley and beans are consumed, water sipped carefully, and the household transitions toward rest. The stories linger in memory, shaping behavior, reinforcing bonds, and offering guidance for the day to come. By the time the courtyard falls silent, stars emerge over the skyline, reflected faintly in the distant rivers. The city rests, but the lessons of the day embedded in labor, trade, craft. Evening gatherings are a reminder that survival is not only physical, but social and cultural. In Sumer, life persists because knowledge, tradition, and cooperation are shared, cherished, and passed on through every word, gesture, and story. The city falls silent as night blankets Sumer in darkness. Mud brick walls retain the lingering warmth of the day, while the courtyard cools gradually, offering a rare respite from the sun's unrelenting heat. Inside, the household prepares for rest. The reed mats are arranged, water jars placed within reach, and small amounts of leftover food stored for the next day. Nightfall is not merely the end of labor. It is a structured pause in the continuous rhythm of survival. Children lie down on their mats, small bodies curling under thin blankets or mats, exhausted from chores, play, and learning. Their eyelids grow heavy as the stories told in the evening echo in their minds, blending myth, practical lessons, and the collective memory of the city. Even in sleep, they are absorbing knowledge in unconscious training in endurance, patience, and observation. Family life in Sumer extends seamlessly into night, blurring the line between rest and preparation for the day ahead. Adults settle onto their mats, muscles aching from labor in workshops, fields, or marketplaces. The physical exhaustion is profound, yet there is a sense of accomplishment. Tasks completed, tools arranged, water and food accounted forth. Household is prepared to endure another day. The act of rest is deliberate. It allows the body to recover while the mind reflects on accomplishments, mistakes, and strategies for survival. Every decision from morning to night contributes to the household's continuity and resilience. Outside, the faint murmur of distant rivers reminds you of the constant presence of the Tigris and Euphrates. Their waters are both life-giving and unpredictable, demanding vigilance in irrigation, trade, and water management. The city sleeps in measured breaths, yet the environment is never truly dormant. Night is a time of quiet reflection, planning, and preparation, reinforcing the lessons learned through daily labor, storytelling, and social interaction. The smell of mud, earth, and faint smoke from the evening hearth lingers in the air. These scents, along with the lingering aroma of barley, beans, and onions, are inseparable from Sumerian life. They define the sensory landscape of the household, grounding memory and experience in daily survival. Even in darkness, these subtle signals connect family members to each other, to the city, and to the cycles of labor and sustenance that define existence. As you close your eyes, thoughts turn inward. Reflections of the day's work, crafting clay tablets, reinforcing irrigation channels, trading at the market, teaching children, sharing stories coalesce into a tapestry of endurance. Night allows for both rest and introspection, a chance to evaluate efficiency, cooperation, and the rhythm of household life. Sumerian existence is defined not only by physical survival, but by the careful weaving of family, labor, and social bonds. And night is when the patterns of the day settle into memory. The stars shimmer over the city, faintly reflected in the rivers that wind between the city-states. Darkness is complete, yet life pulses quietly in every home, every courtyard, and every small act of preparation. Sleep comes slowly, gently, with the awareness that tomorrow will repeat the cycle of labor, family, and community. In Sumer, endurance is cultivated continuously through work, through care, and through the quiet reflection that accompanies night. The first rays of the sun spill over the mud brick skyline of the city, illuminating the courtyards, temples, and streets of Sumer for the inhabitants. The day begins not only with labor, but with rituals, prayers, and offerings. Religion is woven into every aspect of life, an invisible thread guiding behavior, justifying hardship, and providing hope in an unforgiving world. The morning is the first opportunity to honor the gods, ensure their favor, and prepare for the day's challenges. You rise from your reed mat, joints stiff from yesterday's labor, and reach for the clay jar of water. Even this simple act carries ritual significance. A few drops may be poured into a small basin as a symbolic offering before drinking. Water, vital for survival, is also sacred, reflecting the belief that life itself is a gift from the gods. In Sumer, mundane actions are intertwined with spiritual acknowledgement, and preparation for the day is both practical and devotional. The household gathers in the courtyard, where a small altar or sacred space has been arranged. Clay figurines of gods, small bowls, and incense holders occupy the center. Offerings, beans, or small portions of water are placed carefully, accompanied by whispered prayers or chants. Children watch intently, learning the proper gestures and words that maintain harmony with divine forces. Even their smallest mistakes are corrected gently, for ritual knowledge is essential to survival, not merely tradition. The scent of incense mingles with earthy aromas of mud, barley, and herbs. Smoke spirals upward, catching the early sunlight, creating a visual bridge between the physical world and the divine. Adults recite prayers for protection, health, and favorable harvests, while children echo phrases under guidance. The repetition, rhythm, and attention to detail reinforce both spiritual devotion and communal cohesion. Life in Sumer is harsh, but ritual offers structure, comfort, and a sense of control over forces beyond human reach. Small offerings are made to the river as well, acknowledging the Tigris and Euphrates not only as sources of water, but as manifestations of divine will. A few grains of barley may be tossed into the flowing water, or a small cup of water poured ceremonially, reminding the gods and the community that humans are dependent, grateful, and attentive to divine influence. These actions strengthen ties between household, city, and cosmos, reinforcing the sense that survival is both physical and spiritual. After the offerings, the household begins practical preparation for the day, carrying the sacred rituals into daily life. Tasks such as preparing food, organizing tools, or tending fields are infused with a sense of purpose beyond mere survival. Every action can be seen as an extension of devotion. Skillful labor honors the gods. Successful trade reflects divine favor, and cooperation within the household manifests spiritual harmony. In Sumer, belief and action are inseparable. By mid-morning, the rituals are complete, yet their influence lingers. Children retain the lessons, adults carry the blessings, and the city hums with the sense that divine forces are observed and appeased. Life continues under the gaze of the gods, with each offering, prayer, and symbolic gesture reinforcing the rhythm of survival, cooperation, and devotion. By mid-morning, the city hums with activity, yet the temple stands as a calm, sacred heart in Sumer, constructed of mud bricks and adorned with simple carvings. It rises modestly above the surrounding streets, signaling a space where humans interact directly with divine forces. The temple is both spiritual center and administrative hub, overseen by priests who guide ritual practices, record offerings, and advise the community on matters both mundane and sacred. Entering the temple, you notice the faint scent of incense and baked clay, mingling with the earthy aroma of mud bricks. Priests move with deliberate precision, arranging ceremonial tools, offerings, and sacred texts. Their role is multifaceted. They interpret omens, maintain sacred knowledge, and ensure that offerings are properly received by the gods. For Sumerians, guidance from the temple is essential, offering direction in agriculture, trade, labor, and health. A small group gathers for instruction. Children and apprentices are taught the correct pronunciation of prayers, the proper gestures for offerings, and the symbolic meanings behind each ritual. Adults consult with priests, seeking advice on irrigation schedules, trade disputes, or methods to appease specific deities. The temple is not only a place of worship, but a center of knowledge, education, and communal coordination. Every interaction reinforces the link between divine favor and daily survival. Priests demonstrate the care and precision required for sacred objects. Clay figurines, bowls, and tablets are handled with meticulous attention, their placement critical for ritual efficacy. Water, barley, and other offerings are portioned, measured, and presented according to strict codes passed down through generations. Even minor errors are corrected, as ritual precision is believed to affect crop yields, river behavior, and household fortune. Here, labor intersects with spirituality, creating a rhythm of human effort in service to higher powers beyond instruction. Priests provide guidance on ethical and social conduct. In Sumerian belief, Maintaining harmony with the gods requires order within the household and community. Advice may cover cooperation with neighbors, fair trade practices, and proper treatment of laborers. Rituals, while spiritual, reinforce social cohesion and practical wisdom, illustrating that survival is inseparable from devotion and ethical action. After consultation and teaching, the temple activities shift toward preparation for upcoming ceremonies. Priests inspect offerings, arrange ceremonial fires, and coordinate tasks among apprentices. The day's labor is rigorous, yet purposeful, reflecting the belief that devotion manifests through careful, sustained action. For those who participate, children, laborers, and artisans, the temple experience deepens. Understanding of how daily life and spiritual practice are intertwined by late morning. The temple's influence spreads outward. Households adjust routines based on priestly advice. Artisans plan production in accordance with ceremonial needs, and families prepare offerings to maintain favor. In Sumer, survival is not only about physical resources, it is about understanding and respecting the divine framework that governs rivers, harvests, and social interaction. The temple ensures that knowledge, ritual, and devotion remain integrated into everyday life. The city awakens early with anticipation. Today is a festival day, a sacred occasion when the household and community gather to honor the gods. Mud brick streets bustle with preparations, families carrying offerings, children excitedly watching, and artisans completing ceremonial tools. In Sumer, festivals are vital for both spiritual and social cohesion, intertwining devotion, celebration, and communal survival. The central temple courtyard is the focal point. Large clay vessels are lined up, filled with barley, water, and small portions of food to be offered. Priests move with calm authority, directing the placement of items and instructing participants on gestures and chants. Smoke rises from ceremonial fires, carrying the scent of incense and herbs through the air. These festivals are sensory experiences. The colors of woven mats, the sounds of prayers and songs, and the earthy aromas of offerings all reinforce connection to the divine. Families arrive with prepared offerings, barley cakes, beans, small clay figurines, and water from the rivers. Each item is symbolic, representing gratitude, devotion, and hope for protection and prosperity. Offerings are carefully presented on altars or poured ceremonially into the sacred fires or river channels. Children participate actively, learning that devotion requires both understanding and action. Festivals are not mere entertainment. They are structured lessons in culture, responsibility, and community cohesion. Sacrifices are also performed, often symbolic rather than extreme. Small animals may be offered, or symbolic items representing crops and livestock. Priests oversee every action, chanting prayers that reinforce the spiritual significance of the offerings. The ritual ensures that the gods are acknowledged, appeased, and connected to the well-being of the city. The success of crops, labor, and trade is believed to depend on these ceremonial acts, linking spirituality directly to survival. Community worship extends beyond the temple. Streets and courtyards are filled with families observing or participating. Songs, chants, and rhythmic clapping resonate through the city, creating a shared experience that strengthens bonds. Even in harsh conditions, scorching heat, dust, and scarce water, the collective celebration reinforces social structure and mutual reliance. Participation in festivals teaches children cooperation, respect for elders, and understanding of Sumerian cosmology. As the festival progresses, communal meals are shared. Barley cakes, beans, and small portions of food are consumed together, reinforcing both sustenance and social ties. Stories and chants from earlier generations are recounted, embedding historical memory and spiritual teachings within the rhythm of celebration. Every gesture, every chant, every offering is a thread connecting household, temple, and city. Survival, in Sumerian eyes, is as much about maintaining divine favor and community cohesion as it is about labor and food. By late afternoon, the city begins to quiet. Offerings are collected, the sacred fires extinguished, and the marketplace slowly resumes. Families return home, children exhausted but enriched by lessons learned, and adults satisfied in the knowledge that the gods have been honored and social bonds strengthened. Festivals are a reminder that survival in Sumer is collective, spiritual, and deeply structured. The day concludes with gratitude, reflection, and preparation for the cycles of labor, worship, and devotion to continue. Even after the grand festivals and communal ceremonies, the rhythm of Sumerian life is never fully separated from the divine. As the afternoon sun beats down on the city, households engage in daily rituals, small, deliberate acts of devotion that reinforce connection with the gods and integrate spirituality into every moment of survival. In your courtyard, a simple ritual begins. Clay jars of water are poured into small basins, not just for drinking, but as offerings to the gods. Barley is measured carefully, some to be cooked and eaten, some set aside for the deity of the household. Even the smallest gestures, touching the offerings, whispering a brief prayer, or positioning a figurine carry significance. These personal acts remind the household that every day is a continuation of devotion, not merely an obligation to labor. Children imitate these gestures, learning the proper sequence and understanding the meaning behind each act. They sprinkle a few grains of barley, dip fingers into water, and bow slightly before a small clay figurine. Their actions may seem minor, yet they are vital in teaching respect, continuity, and the awareness that survival depends on more than food and labor. It depends on maintaining favor with divine forces. Ritual knowledge is passed quietly, subtly, and with repetition, embedding spirituality into the very fabric of daily life. Adults maintain personal devotion even amidst labor. A mother might pause mid-preparation of barley porridge to offer a grain to the household deity. A father, before heading to the fields, may sprinkle water on a small altar. Each gesture reinforces the belief that labor, sustenance, and survival are inseparable from divine oversight. These acts create a rhythm of life where practical work is infused with spiritual awareness. In addition to the home, some households engage in small communal devotions. Neighbors may meet briefly, exchange words of prayer, or assist with offerings, creating a web of shared spirituality. While less elaborate than festivals, these daily acts maintain cohesion and remind everyone that even in isolation, their efforts are connected to a larger divine and social structure. Life in Sumer is defined by repetition, discipline, and mindfulness. By late afternoon, the household concludes its personal rituals and refocuses on survival tasks, preparing food, maintaining tools, and ensuring water supply. Yet the spiritual rhythm continues internally. Even a casual glance at a clay figurine, a small sprinkle of water, or a whispered prayer is an acknowledgement that every action, however mundane, carries spiritual weight. Personal devotion is not separate from daily life. It is the lens through which labor, family, and community are understood. Night approaches, and the cumulative effect of rituals grand and small creates a profound sense of continuity. Survival in Sumer is not only about physical endurance, but about alignment with cosmic forces, structured behavior, and the consistent practice of devotion. By maintaining these daily rituals, the household secures not only practical survival, but also spiritual guidance, communal cohesion, and moral order. As the sun disappears behind the mud brick skyline, the city of Sumer gradually quiets. The heat of the day fades, replaced by cooler night air. Yet, even in darkness, the household remains vigilant in its devotion. Nighttime is not only a period of rest, it is a final opportunity to honor the gods, reflect on the day, and prepare spiritually for the challenges of tomorrow. In the courtyard, a small altar is arranged near the center, illuminated by the dim glow of a clay lamp. Water is poured into shallow basins, barley and beans are placed delicately, and small figurines of deities are positioned carefully. Children, now calm and attentive, participate under the guidance of adults. Even a simple gesture, a sprinkle of water, a whispered word of thanks serves to connect the family to divine forces. Night rituals are personal, quiet, yet profoundly significant in maintaining the household's spiritual balance. The air carries faint scents of incense and earth, blending with the aroma of the day's final meal. Adults recite short prayers, giving thanks for survival, guidance, and protection. They reflect on the labor completed, crafting pottery, tending fields, negotiating trades, and performing daily household tasks. Each action of the day is seen as both practical and spiritual, a demonstration of devotion to the gods who oversee rivers, crops, and human fortune. Children watch carefully, learning that reflection and acknowledgement of the divine are as important as labor. They imitate gestures, repeat phrases, and internalize lessons on responsibility, respect, and awareness of forces beyond human control. Through these nightly rituals, knowledge, belief, and social order are transmitted seamlessly between generations. Spiritual education is integrated with survival, ensuring that the rhythm of life work, devotion, and learning remains unbroken. As the offerings are completed, the family pauses in silence. The city outside is muted, and the faint sound of distant rivers reminds them of the constant presence of life-giving forces. Reflection during this quiet time reinforces understanding of interdependence. Labor sustains life, devotion maintains divine favor, and cooperation strengthens the household. Nighttime is both an ending and a preparation, a spiritual reset, challenge, and survival. The clay lamp flickers, casting dancing shadows on the mud brick walls. Water jars and offerings sit respectfully on the altar, awaiting the dawn when the cycle will begin again. Gratitude and reflection merge with anticipation, teaching patience, mindfulness, and resilience. Survival in Sumer is inseparable from spirituality. The household that honors both is better equipped to endure the relentless heat, scarcity of resources, and social complexities of the city. Finally, the household settles onto reed mats. Children drift to sleep. Adults lie back to recover from the day's labor, and the quiet rhythm of breathing fills the courtyard. Stars twinkle above, reflected faintly in the distant Tigris and Euphrates. The city sleeps, yet the bonds of devotion, reflection, and social cohesion continue silently. In Sumer, the day concludes not simply with rest, but with acknowledgement of the forces that guide life, a practice repeated endlessly to sustain civilization.